Hey everybody, I'm so excited you're with us today. It's a gorgeous day and we are located at one of the most famous bass fishing lakes in the entire southeastern United States. This is Kentucky Lake. I'm going to tell you about it on this week's show. We're going to do a little bass fishing. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm glad you're along with us right now. The Mercury Pro XS 250 gets cranked up. We idle out of the marina. Fox Sports Outdoors is on the air from Kentucky Lake, Tennessee.
It's time for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southwest region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
So we're idling out of Paris Landing State Park, a great facility here on Kentucky Lake. Hey, just a couple of quick facts about the lake. This place is an ocean. It's over 180 miles long. It's on the Tennessee River. It's got over 160,000 surface acres, over 2,000 miles of shoreline. This place is a beast. It's a bunch of water to try to figure out. We'll try to dissect it on this week's show, show you a couple of ways you can catch bass if you'd like to come here. And while we're doing that, we're taking you around the region for your very latest fishing reports for this week from our expert team of insider reporters. Got a lot to do. It's going to be a lot of fun. Got a great day to do it right now. Let's get you back to the FSN studios. Here's your weekend planner.
The Solunar tables show this weekend to be a fantastic time to be on the water. Saturday is forecast to have excellent conditions, while Sunday is predicted to have some of the top action of the month. And if you like dark evenings for night fishing, Saturday is the beginning of a new moon with the best activity predicted to start at 12:40 a.m. Sunrise will take place at 6:19 with sunset occurring at 8:32. Stay with us for regional fishing updates from all of our reporters, and I'll return with last year's Bassmaster Classic winner Casey Ashley on this week's Ask the Pro. Back in a bit.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than just a boat, it's a tracker. Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there. Mercury Marine, official outboard of Fox Sports Outdoors. And Lowrance Electronics, find, navigate, dominate.
Got him. All right, we've got a fish. Decent bass. Oh. All right, that's a good start. There we go. Caught a bass for you right there. Got something started at Kentucky Lake. Caught him on a little Jacob Wheeler special. I'll show that to you at the end. Not a monster, but just a good bass to get it started. Well, let me explain a couple of things about Kentucky Lake. It's famous for its deep Tennessee ledge bass fishing. That's really where this lake got its name over the last few years. A lot of big tournaments, big Bassmaster and FLW tournaments won out on the main Tennessee River channel. Deep ledges that fall off into the river, and they're cranking big, deep crankbaits out there. But there's another whole kind of fishing that doesn't get nearly the publicity that's just as fun, and a lot of bass do it, and that's what we're doing today. There are a lot of, well, they call them creeks here, but they're actually bays off the river. There's several creek channels running through these bays. It's a lot shallower water, but there are some deep drop-offs inside them. And this right here is just a little island out in the middle of one of these bays. But you can come in here and dissect these bays, fish several different ways, and you can catch bass in them as well, particularly in the spring and the fall when the weather's a little bit cooler. When it's real hot, they tend to go out on those deep river ledges. In fact, we were here 2 years ago, and Crispin Pally, our Southeast reporter, was with us, and we caught several really nice bass cranking those deep ledges. We've got a start. Let's get you a start with fishing and lake reports.
Hi folks, this week's Lone Star Lakes is brought to you once again by Lone Star Outdoor News. Pick it up at participating sporting goods retailers for free or have it delivered to your home every other week by subscription. Now this week we're still talking about family-friendly fishing as the kids are getting out of school. Let's talk striped bass and hybrid stripers. We're going to start on Lake Livingston, where you can catch the fish between the Big Island and the main channel. You'll want to use plastic bodied baits, swim bait type lures like a Bass Assassin, on a lead head jig weighing 1/2 to 1 ounce. Look on your electronics for bait fish or the schooling feeding fish and count the bait down to that depth, probably somewhere around 20 to 25 feet. You can then reel that bait through the school until something grabs it, or jerk it up off the bottom and drop it back down to them. Either way, you should catch some fish on Livingston. Now, Lake Buchanan is a fantastic hybrid fishery, in part due to the Lake Buchanan Conservation Corps. Over the last 10 years, they have stocked over 9 million hybrid fry in that lake, and the results are fantastic. Use the same lures, use colors like natural shad, silver flake, or glow chartreuse on the 1/2 ounce to 1 ounce lead heads, and jerk those up off the bottom or reel it steadily through the school. You'll catch some Buchanan hybrids that way. That's been this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Lone Star Outdoor News. Now let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. He's on the coast.
Hi folks, Texas Outdoors Journal brings you this week's report, and my magazine has once again been named the #1 major outdoor publication in Texas by the Texas Outdoor Writers Association. Whether you fish or hunt, each month our team of top professionals will tell you where to go, what to expect once you get there, and how to do a little bit better. Pick up a copy of the June issue, now on sale on newsstands, or subscribe and save at TexasOutdoorsJournal.com or call 800-222-4TOJ. Well, it is June, and most anglers agree it is the best month of the year to catch speckled trout. In the surf or in the bay, trout are available. Whether it's the beachfront or bay, start shallow, throw in topwater lures. Unfair Lures Dog Walker is an excellent option and the hottest bait on the coast. As the day warms, move out a little deeper, fishing soft plastics on a jig head or Unfair Lures mullet, rip and slash, or their slow sinking shrimp. On Sabine, Galveston, and East Matagorda, the clam beds and shell reefs are where specks will stack up in water 4 to 5 feet deep. Good action around Cedar Bayou has fish in the surf as well as the channel and surrounding bays. Specks have moved up the Lydia Ann Channel along St. Joe Island, as well as behind Mustang and Padre Island. The King Ranch shoreline remains good all the way to the mouth of Baffin Bay. Out of Port Isabel, Long Bar, the causeways, and the color change behind the convention center have produced. Offshore, the 9-day red snapper season is underway. It ends at 12:01 a.m. on June 10. This weekend, both Saturday and Sunday have a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides each day. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
There we go. Look at all this mud blowing off this bank. Little bitty bass. All right, well, that's pretty much what I've caught yesterday and today. I've actually spent about almost 2 days on the water here, and I have caught a ton of 1.5 to 3 pound bass, something like that. And I just can't seem to find any bigger ones. But let me explain to you a couple of things. One, if you want to fish these bays, kind of get off that main river like we talked about, typically there's a shallow side and a steep side to every one of these creeks or bays. And it's pretty easy to tell. The steep sides have a real steep sloping bank, and you can tell by just looking at the shoreline. Versus the shallow side, it's just going to be much flatter. The fish can be on either side, but you've got to determine which side they're on that particular day based on the water temperature, the water conditions, the weather, where the bait fish are. All of those things affect where these fish will go. If you're fishing the shallow side, you can throw like a square bill crankbait or a spinner bait, something like that. Fishing the deep side, you want to go with a soft plastic, something that'll get a little bit further down, maybe even a little deeper diving crankbait. Time now for more fishing and lake reports from where you live. I'm right here at Kentucky Lake.
Hi friends, Cajun Phil here with the Louisiana Outdoor Fishing Report. I tell you what, beautiful day today. Just talked to all of our guys, Captain Kevin, Captain Carlos, Captain Preston. Got a whole lot of guys out today. They're all catching lots of fish. They're catching combinations. Some of them catching mostly speckled trout, some of them catching mostly redfish, some of them catching red specks and a few flounder. I tell you what, fish is pretty good right here on Calcasieu Lake. You need to come on down and get you some. As far as everywhere else, we talked to Captain Bill Lake down in Houma, Louisiana. He's catching lots of fish. He's catching redfish or speckled trout, whichever one you want to go after. Down in Shell Beach, we talked to several guys there. Captain Jack, he's down in Delacroix. He's been doing really good. Charlie Thomas is doing good down in Shell Beach. And of course, John Fallerman on Pontchartrain. Whew, he's waxing and stacking, as he calls it. I tell you what, as far as the bass fishing scene goes, man, talked to some guys that was fishing nighttime on Falls River. They did really well on bass. Had some nice bass. They caught them at night using buzz baits. So the next morning when it started clearing up a little bit, they started throwing a rattle trap on the south end of Falls River. They were catching stripers and bass, having a blast. We also got reports from the Sabine River, that's south of the Interstate 10. They're catching some nice bass down there, as well as a few redfish mixed in there with the bass. North of Interstate 10, though, Sabine River is still pretty high, still pretty off color. Fishing's okay, but not that good. I wouldn't go there. Up at the lead bed, nighttime fishing. Angler this week caught 11.5 pounder at night. Whew, that had to be fun. I tell you what, right now all across Louisiana, whether you want bass, redfish, speckled trout, flounder, fish is pretty good. Contact Old Cajun Phil, 337-540-5530.
Oh, there's one. Little fish. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break. I want to mention one real quick thing. Two big kinds of fishing here at Kentucky Lake. We're in the mid-lake area around Paris Landing. Of course, this lake's 184 miles long. You can go way north up into Kentucky. All the fishing from mid-lake north is pretty much structure and ledge fishing. But if you go further south, there's a lot of the prettiest grass beds you've ever seen. All kinds of aquatic vegetation during all the warm weather months down there. And it is some of the most phenomenal bass fishing you've ever seen in the grass. Want to fish grass? Go south. Structure fishing? Go north. We'll be right back.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. Lose, fueled by passion, driven by innovation. Feel the difference. Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. With our baits, a good day of fishing is in the bag. And Strand Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability.
Got it on the swim. Good fish. Oh, what a hot fish that is. All right. So, you come in this boat, and we're going to show that fish right there. There's a good one. Well, got something working. I'm actually getting a lot of bites and catching a lot of fish, just not catching those good quality fish that we really hear about, read about at Kentucky Lake. And I really think the majority of the bigger quality fish spend way more of their time out on that Tennessee River ledge than they do back in these bays. So probably the thing is you're going to get more bites and more action here, but you're going to catch bigger quality fish out there. And the fish are more school oriented out there. They run around in herds and packs, and if you catch one, you're likely to catch a bunch of them all the same size. Back in these bays, you can see it's a beautiful place back here. Look at this. It's just a gorgeous little creek running in back here with a kind of an open bay in front of it. You've got some deep drop-off water here, drops off to 15, 20, 25 feet, something like that in the bay, and some shallow water around the edges. Just a beautiful place to fish if you've never been to Kentucky Lake. Also, one other thing, Barkley Lake is right next door. This is the Tennessee River, Kentucky Lake. The Cumberland River feeds and makes up Barkley Lake, and the land between the lakes is a national park right in between the two. Just a fantastic place if you've never been to this area. All right, time for more fishing and lake reports from where you live.
While there's very few of us that actually get to fish every day, it's wonderful to know that we all have the privilege to be able to do that. And I get reminded of that quite often, and most recently when my longtime fishing buddy Jimmy Talbot returned from nearly a year in Iraq. Now, he's been there several times, he's back again, and after the priority with family, one of the other things that he wanted to do first was to get back on the water fishing. Great to see Jimmy back on the water. He went to nearby Dripping Springs. As you can see here, he didn't miss a beat. Remembers exactly what you're supposed to do. He had a wonderful time doing that and caught many nice fish, doing exactly what we've been talking about for the last few weeks, throwing weightless baits in and around the grass on the shorelines. His bait of choice was a salt flicker, no weight on it, right in there, and Jimmy, great to see you back there doing your thing, catching those beautiful largemouth bass. So again, thank you to Jimmy Talbot, to all men and women who are serving, and to those who have served on our behalf so we get to enjoy fishing like we do in this great country. You truly are our American heroes. We're so appreciative of your efforts, and we know that we're able to go fishing because of what you're doing, and we also know that we can't catch them if we don't go. Thank you to all again for your military service.
Let me give you a little information. First of all, you can come here and fish these bays like we've done today and like I did yesterday. Now, it poured rain all day yesterday. We couldn't get the big camera out, but I took the selfie cam out. Was able to catch fish all day long. Now, you're going to be looking at a little footage of a couple of fish I caught, including a smallmouth bass. I didn't know there were smallmouth in this lake, but I caught one, and another nice largemouth in between the rain showers on that selfie cam. You can come here and do this, and you can throw a Carolina rig, a square bill crankbait, a spinner bait, a topwater, a plastic worm, and you can catch fish in these bays by yourself. Now, if you want to go out on the ledges, fish for some of those big schools of bigger fish, you need a guide. Sam Lashley is your guy. We'll put his contact information up on the screen. He is a real instructor, and you can learn a lot, particularly about that ledge style fishing here at Kentucky Lake. Also, if you want a great place to stay at Fishtails Lodge. Sharon, Ronnie, and their whole crew do a great job, conveniently situated right off the lake and just off the state park. One thing that's real important, I'm using Stren Original clear blue fluorescent line, and that's real critical because I actually see these strikes before I feel them. You can actually watch your line and watch it jump when they grab it and then watch it move off to the side. That clear blue fluorescent Stren Original is real critical to what I'm doing right now. Stay with us. We're coming right back to Kentucky Lake, Tennessee.
Be sure to join Fox Sports Outdoors again next week, Thursday at 5:30, or catch the repeat airing Saturday morning at 8. And you can always watch the latest episode in full HD on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Plus, catch up on all past episodes by clicking the archive button, and see lots of how-to and product videos by clicking the how-to button. Also, stay up to date with the latest fishing news, videos, and photos by clicking the follow button on our Twitter feed, and get lots of that same info by clicking the like button on our Facebook page. Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Exide AGM Marine Batteries. Starts like new, stays like new longer. Motor Guide Trolling Motors, because accuracy matters. Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made. And Fox Sports Outdoors is driven by Fort Worth Nissan and Lone Star Toyota.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's get right to your Ask the Pro question for this week. Kevin wants to know, how do you decide on a soft plastic color? For the answer, we asked 2015 Classic champion Casey Ashley.
My outlook on picking colors of soft plastics is keep it simple. There's only about 4 colors you're gonna find in my boat. Green pumpkin, number 1, it works everywhere. June bug, red bug, and watermelon candy. I can take those 4 colors and go anywhere in the country and catch them. The only thing that depends on those 2, June bug, red bug, darker water, green pumpkin, watermelon candy, clear water.
Thank you, Casey. If you want some help from one of the pros, go to foxsportsoutdoors.com and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit a question. Now it's time for the Costa Catch of the Week, where someone wins a new pair of sunglasses.
Each and every week, someone wins a free pair of Costa sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week contest right here on the show, one in the Southeast and one in the Southwest region. Here's this week's winner. She is Melissa Bjorn of Bella Vista, Arkansas, showing a 22-inch rainbow trout she caught in the White River in Arkansas. And a couple of more bonus rainbow trout. Patty Sims is showing a 22-inch rainbow, and Trent Moser is showing a 19-inch rainbow, again, both caught in the White River. These were not winners, but great fish nonetheless. If you'd like to be our next winner, all you have to do is go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com, click in the Costa Catch of the Week box on the right side of the front page, follow the instructions to send us your photo and you just might be our next winner. And to see all of the great Costa products, simply go back to the front page of our site and click on the Costa logo. It's there you'll see all of their great lenses like the 580 glass and 580 polycarbonate and all of the wide variety of frame styles, including the frame style that I was wearing on this week's episode. This one is called Rockport in the mossy oak camo pattern. Next up on the Academy Right Stuff, it's the right gear to catch bass, not only here at Kentucky Lake, but at your favorite lake nonetheless. This is a fantastic all-around rod and reel setup that I was using today. It's the brand new Lew's TP1 Speed Stick series. It's got the famous microwave guide system. I've got a full video on our website under the how-to section about the microwave guide system. It's got wind grips, the most comfortable grip in fishing rods, and I had it paired with the Lew's Speed Spool LFS bait cast reel. It's got many of the features of the much more expensive reels at less than $100. It's a great fishing reel for all bass purposes. It would take me quite a while to go through all of the baits that I caught bass on during this trip at Kentucky Lake. Never did catch any great big ones, but I caught a whole bunch of bass. So I'll just highlight 3 of the baits that worked really well. First of all, a spinner bait. Just a solid 1/2 ounce chartreuse spinner bait with a gold willow leaf blade worked great. Then a square bill crankbait that only runs about 3 to 5 feet deep worked perfectly for a lot of these bass. And I used a Texas rig quite a bit. That's the brand new Gene LaRue Jacob Wheeler Punch Out Craw. Just a real good creature type bait. American author and humorist Mark Twain was quoted as saying the following, and I read, "20 years from now, you will be more disappointed by the things you didn't do than by the ones you did do. So throw off the bow lines, sail away from the safe harbor, catch the trade winds in your sails, explore, dream, discover." Now, further research by me cannot independently verify that Mark Twain did indeed say those words, but whoever did say them could easily come on here and host Stuff That Matters, because no truer words have ever been spoken. It is those things, those sins of commission, the things that we did that we wish we hadn't, that occupy our attention. But more importantly, it's those sins of omission, things we wish we had done that we did not do, that can haunt us for a very long time. I hope you enjoyed our trip right here to Kentucky Lake, just outside Paris, Tennessee. The lake fished a little tough for us today. We didn't catch the big fish that we would like to have caught, but hey, how many of us catch great big ones every time we go? Don't forget, if you'd like to come here, you really need to book a guide the first day you fish here, and Sam Lashley would be your guy. He's a great instructor. We put his contact information back up on the screen one more time, along with Fish Tails Lodge. It's a fantastic place to stay, just off the highway, only about a mile or so from Paris Landing. Great place for you to put in and launch. Thanks for joining us from Kentucky Lake, Tennessee. Until next week, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.